Hi guys, welcome back to another Starcraft Remastered replay cast. A very interesting engagement here from the South Korean ladder, as we have spawning here in the upper right part in the red. It is a barcode, so I don't know who this person is. Of course a pro, given the fact that the APM is really high, and his opponents SSAK, quite a known Zerg pro from the South Korean scene. So we're going to be having a very interesting game here on a 4 spawning location map. Protoss versus Zerg it is going to be, and as always, just like in the previous replays here onto this channel, we're going to be checking the build orders very soon, as we already see the Protoss move out here with a very early probe. So it looks like he's going to play it very safe, opening up here with a pylon outside. He's going to very likely prepare a wall off in order to secure his expansion, and he's even scouting the map. So very early move out here by the Protoss, really wanting to know, of course, where SSAK is located. Let's have a look at the build order from the Zerg. Straight into Overlord, so no spawning pool, no fast spawning pool for him, no gas for him either. I believe he's also going to try to play it safe with a fast expansion build, or let's see if this is indeed going to be his tactic. In the meantime, we see the probe moving out. I believe it's going to be a forge indeed. So yeah, Olaf should be completed very soon for the Protoss, in order to give protection towards his expansion. Still producing workers. You can of course see the production tab here. We actually see the spawning pool now getting placed by the Zerg, so safer gameplay by him. Perhaps he's expecting a rush from the middle of the map by the Protoss, but yeah, no such thing. By barcode, I'm just gonna call him barcode here, as the probe now finally arrived into the Zerg base. So very early scout here for the Protoss, checking now the build order, seeing the fast spawning pool, but also saw the move out with the drone. So it is going to be a hatchery there into this location. So quite ordinary stuff. Most players looking like they're going to prepare the macro oriented game. We can see, of course, it's a very long replay, as you can see from the timer, 40-minute replay. A very nice game here in between the two pros, as the probe is just going to chill here and a little bit annoying. I believe he's just going to stay as much as he can just to see when the tier 2 is going to come out, but the Zerglings do get a good attack, and yeah, the probe was already hurt. Let's take out here from SSAK. Check the expansion. There is the cannon from the Protoss, so very soon I believe he's going to continue indeed with the gateway, but there is a small gap here where the Zerglings could move forward, so perhaps some other probes will be needed here. Let's see if the drone is going to make it here for the and finishes on time. And yeah, another pylon here for the Protoss. So very regular, nice build order here for the Protoss, with a very good fast expansion for him. Same can be said here for the Zerg, so those players are preparing their game. And we also see a 6 o'clock expansion here for the Zerg. Around the 3-minute mark, he went for another expansion. Of course, he can secure it with his Zerglings out, knowing of course that the Protoss is going for a macro game. The Zerg feels very confident to expand into this location. So yeah, quite interesting stuff. We have a small stalemate now, none of the both players really wishing to inflict damage to each other, so they're just pretty much preparing their economies here. Hatchery should also finish very soon for the Zerg. Check his main. There is this tier 2 upgrade which has just started. You might see a transition very soon into a Spire or into a Hydralist, then here by the Zerg into Hydralisting with the Lurkers. We also see speed for the Zerg is being done, so we might see a timing push here from the Zerg. Will of course force the Protoss to go into more cannons, and perhaps even Psionic Storm or even Dragoons will have to be an option in order to defend this attack with Zerglings and Hydralisk. See if this is indeed going to be the option for the Zerg. And yeah, in the meantime, more drones, more probes are getting produced. We can see, of course, Barcode having 3 more workers, but the Zerg is slowly but steadily catching up, as given the fact that his expansion is also finished into this location. So pretty nice stuff by both players. We have an early weapons 1 upgrade here for the Protoss, sorry. So he might also try to go into an attack with some early zealots in order to punish the expansion from this location right here. So we could see a couple of zealots move out by him. Be very deadly with weapons 1 upgrade. very strong, as we do indeed see now a Spire. So Spire is going to be some Mutalisk. I believe the reaction from the Protoss is going to be a Stargate with some Corsairs. Corsairs, of course, hold on, he's going for double. No, he's going for a gateway here. No double Stargate. Would have been interesting to see two Stargates. The Corsairs early on, very deadly against the Overlords in the air. And also good for scouting, if you ask me. Very good scouting unit, very fast. It's very good into hunting those Overlords, as they don't have speed and there are no Hydras yet out here for Zerg. Be another macro hatch by the Zerg, so prepare on a timing attack. If around the 10-minute mark we can see a huge move out by the Zerg. Yet another macro hatch by him, so let's have a look what exactly he's going. He's also preparing a block off here with some buildings, a nice sim city being prepared here by the Zerg. Let's see when or he's going to attack first. In comes the first Corsair. He might be lucky here into taking out this Overlord. No Hydras, at least I don't see any Hydras getting produced yet here for the Zerg. Some Scourges actually are getting produced, so this is going to be the counter from the Zerg versus the air units from the Protoss. And yeah, we're slowly but steadily closing in towards the 10-minute mark. The first blood is going to get drawn here. The Protoss as is going to be able to snap Overlord. At the same time, some Zealots do move out here, so weapons one will be finished on time. Speed will also be finished, so this is what I told you. The Protoss can of course inflict damage towards the expansion point as the Zealots are slowly but steadily moving here forward, but the Zerg nicely hiding here, a Sunken in the back. Is it going to be enough? There is no speed being done yet. Zealots almost halfway being done, and yeah, in they come, but they're very slow. So the Sunken's already dealing some good damage into one Zealot. Drones have to be pulled. Zealots and Zerglings are coming here forward. The Sunken is not being touched, so the Zerg should be able to hold this, of course. A little bit of an impatient move here by the Protoss, if you ask me, given the fact that weapons 1 hasn't been finished, Bags hasn't been finished either, so he could have at least waited a little bit. Yeah, impatient move, and Zerg actually being able to hold this. Some Zerglings will fall, of course. A little bit of time has been won here by Zealots. I believe the damage would have been much higher if speed would have been done, and it was just a couple of 1 minute, perhaps 1.5 minutes, and now those Zealots would have walked here forward, perhaps get a good surround against the Sunken here, even snapping some workers, but a little bit of an impatient move. The Protoss, it's his last quite, I believe it was around 5 Zealots there, so do have Dark Templars, and this is also a good strategy by the Protoss. Dark Templars with Corsairs sniping the Overlords and then just take out the units, as there is no vision for the Zerg. There are no spores, don't see any, and yet the Protoss is once again moving here, getting scouted to try to snipe of course the Overlord, but some Hydras should be able to hold this. Is he going to commit here? This is the question. The units are moving forward, but yeah, the Zerg nicely reacting with his Hydras. There is one Dark Templar here. Good micro here by the Zerg, splitting those Hydras, just kiting them nice and back forward. The Zealots will stand no chance, but the real damage dealers, of course, is this one Dark Templar. 3 drones are getting fastly sniped here. Sadly for the Zerg, is not really reacting. Now finally microing those units, but they're getting blocked by this one Dark Templar, and more drones are getting snapped here. So the Dark Templar, let's have a look how many kills he has. Already 7 kills. Finally he is going to get killed, but still a nice hero Dark Templar here for the Protoss, as he was able to snipe 7 workers, so taking more and more damage. You can see the units here, you can see the workers, 28 workers for Zerg, 50 already here for Protoss. Yeah, finally speed has been done, and while he was attacking, the Protoss is nicely expanded here into this location at the 12 o'clock. Very nice stuff by him, inflicting economic damage. Yeah, but look at the rebounds here from the Zerg, all of a sudden 40 workers, so this is of course the advantage into having so many macro hatcheries, just pumping out those workers as fast as you can, and at the same time is moving out with some Hydras. But the good storm could of course inflict massive amounts of splash damage here against those Hydras, scaring them off. The Protoss having some good Zealots, he might get a good surround against those units. Right now, get a Micro is really, really strong here for the Zerg, but of course it's impossible to out micro high Templar Storms as AoE is so high. Pretty much impossible. Even for artificial intelligence, I believe it would be impossible to out micro Storm, as the units are so much clumped up together, so very hard for the Zerg. Yeah, we have passed the 10-minute mark. The Zerg should of course know of this expansion. It's nicely getting guarded here by islands and cannons. In the meantime, more and more map control is seen in favor for the Zerg, as we do see the first Dragoons here, the Protoss, and the Zerg could of course upgrade his overload transporter ability and just drop those units here into this location. Let's see, might be lucky and just get some kills here against those probes. But no, Protoss is not moving out and to give it protection. At the same time, the Zerg is also expanding here into this location, so quite an interesting game. Have here lots and lots of gas being remained. The Zerg, let's see if he's going to try to transition into some lurkers. It would of course be a good idea against so many pumped up together units here for the Protoss. He just needs to be careful against those high Templars here with the Storm. Very strong unit for the Protoss indeed, against all the races, against the Protoss, against the Terran, and of course against the Zerg. Quite deadly against the Zerg, also against those tanks from the Terrans. Very strong unit indeed, and of course a must against the Protoss. We do have an engagement here, once again a good Storm. Some Hydras have already been sniped, 5 of them. Good takeouts here for the Protoss, securing his expansion here into this location and just forcing here a retreat by the Zerg. The Zerg is going to focus more into defending, so seeing a transition into some workers very soon. There they are. So yeah, let's have a look at the upgrades very quickly. 1-to-1, so armor is also getting much important here for Protoss to actually see 2 armor is getting upgraded here. Interesting strategy. Even most Protoss really like to go for only 1 armor, but we see the second armor upgrade being done. Let's check the Zerg upgrades. Weapons, but we also see them. Missile attacks and carapace is also getting produced here. Small move out here by both players. Both players have of course passed the 100 mark of hits. Soon, quite a deadly force indeed here for the Protoss, especially those high Templars, but they need to be protected. Perhaps the Protoss with the Zerg is going to try to go for some Mutalisk, as they're really fast, and he's going to try to snipe those high Templars, as the Mutalisk would of course be able to outrun and hold them. We actually do see a move out here by the Zerg, as the first units will take some damage. Lots and lots of clumped up together units for the Zerg. There's no chance yet for him to move forward. He might, like I told you, try to upgrade those overlords and just drop massive amounts of units here, or perhaps into the main from the Protoss. We can actually see massive amounts of gateways getting produced. One trapped Dragoon here, kill the Citadel. The Protoss is very likely going to move out into attacking the newly established bases here for the Zerg. We do see the lurkers here nicely getting spreaded. On a good flank here by the Zerg, he might try to snipe those high Templars. It's really hard to engage here against so many high Templars. Would have to slowly kite those units back. And hold on, one high Templar has been sniped. The second one also getting sniped here, so good takeout here, but at the same time he's losing some units. More Hydras are falling here, but a lucky snipe here. I believe around 2 to 3 high Templars have been sniped, so good connections here for the Zerg. There's a little bit of an out micro here, getting Hydras getting sniped here, so a little bit of a mistake here by the Zerg. More and more damage is being taken here by him, so he needs to be more careful with the routing as the Protoss brings his reinforcements forward. And yeah, he's heading straight towards this base here, but this ledge of course will work against him. It's so much flash damage out of the lurkers. See what the Protoss is going to do. So he's going to try to attack here a much bigger surface area, and hold on, we actually have a good engagement here for the Protoss. He's catching all of those Zerglings. Yeah, the Zerg once again with a little bit of a big with microing those units, losing so many Zerglings. I believe he tried to counter this expansion, but got intercepted by the Protoss. Let's see if the Protoss is going to commit here forward. He has no vision yet. He needs the observer. I don't see any observer yet. Oh, hold on, there's one. So he does have vision, but he needs those storms very, very soon. And there's only one observer here, and he's immediately getting sniped. Very smart move here by the Zerg at the same time. The Zerglings do counter here this expansion. So the Protoss has to wait now for the other observers to come forward. And it needs to micro them really, really well. As there will be, of course, the first targets here for the Zerg. And it looks like indeed the Protoss is going to commit. He is very confident with his economy, throwing out those storms, dealing more and more splash damage. Another observer has fallen, there's one left. So more need to be produced here by the Protoss very soon. As the observers do fall left and right, and as soon as the observer falls, the siege will very likely end. So yeah, important unit now. All of a sudden the observer tries of course to get a good surround on lone Dragoon, somehow walking here forward. Passing is really strange for this Dragoon, but he makes it here forward. 4 HP for him. Oh, lucky Dragoon there. The observers might get sniped here, and with that I believe the Zerg now has the upper hand, and he's going to force the Protoss to pull back. So get lots and lots of losses here for both players. But the economy from the Protoss, as you can see, is much stronger against the Zerg, and he should be able to replenish his units or from those gateways here. I believe he has 12 gateways here, so the production is continuing here for him. Soon he's going to be at maxed out very soon, as we're also close towards the 20-minute game. So quite an interesting game indeed. We have Zerg all of a sudden going into mass. Zerglings in the late game, they're pretty strong and so not that expensive. So inflicted good damage here against this outpost from Protoss. Here they come. We do have a tier 3. Tyler will also be much needed. And as the Zerglings are actually also very good against the Dragoons, as they get a good surround. Being really fast. It's low HP, but still good unit too. But we also might see Ultra-Risk, of course. Ultra-Risk a much more tankier unit, a much stronger, bigger unit than massive amounts of Zerglings, and the Protoss can hold this ledge. If this is going to get shut down very soon here by the Protoss. So yeah, good stuff by the Protoss, securing his expansion as he's bringing his reinforcements forward. And yeah, we actually see the more melee attack is getting here by the Zerg. Evolve metallistic note, so 50 more energy for the Defiler. Yeah, very soon we're going to be seeing, of course, some Defilers for the Zerg, much needed unit against those Dragoons on the ground. But I believe they still take damage from the Zealots and from the High Templars. And the Protoss has detected now the expansion here into this location for the Zerg. He's pretty much throwing everything he has forward. The Zerg reacting with some lurkers, a little bit exposed. No observer yet for him, and all of those Dragoons will take massive amounts of splash damage. High Templars will storm them, and they should be clear, but some Dragoons have fallen here as well. But importantly enough here for the Protoss, he was able to snap this location, not allowing the Zerg to expand all over the map. And at the same time, he secured this expansion right here. Pretty good stuff. Lots and lots of gas here for the Zerg, but not much minerals being left, as the Protoss still inflicting damage against the Zerg units. And yeah, Zerg is of course online, but we do see the Defiler. Some Zerglings are in the front, and those Templar Storms very nice into defending the units, and lots of splash damage here. Very nicely done by the Protoss. Lots of those High Templars. Around 8 High Templars. Very strong unit, like I told you to have. Not that much energy is being left for them, so going to retreat. Let's see how fast the energy gets back here. I believe 1 at a second. And remember, 1 High Templar can cast 2 storms, or is it 3? I believe 2 storms can be casted here from 1 High Templar. Let's see how the game is going to continue. The Zerg is going to try, of course, to secure his other expansion, a much needed expansion here by him. And if he creates a nice SimCity build order, he's going to secure this expansion here as well. Protoss knows this, of course, so he's going to intercept the units here. He's going to just roam around, just patrol this area. Even I believe he should be able to snap those units here as well, so nice job by the Protoss. Not that many Zerg units, some do try to intercept, but hold on, we actually have many Zerglings here getting a good surround, so the important units from the Protoss might get sniped. He's not paying attention, he's losing high temper after high temper, and yeah, a little bit of a mistake this time by the Protoss. So after the Zerg losing some units due to bad micro, now the Protoss losing some units. He was even able to snap this location right. So it's important to have small groups of zealots in order to inflict damage towards the newly expansion attempts by enemy. Of course, the server with speed, as you can see, really fast, like a small Star Trek Enterprise here, moving very fast on the map, giving important vision. They're just pretty much patrolling this area right here. Done. The Protoss, as he also has one here into this location. So yeah, making things very hard, and once again just to get some good surrounds, inflicting good damage. But yeah, the High Templars is a very scary unit to have, and the Zerg will try of course to snap them very fast. The Protoss has all of his units expanded onto the map, so this might be good for the Zerg into inflicting some damage, but not so much Protoss here. And the lower right part is now pretty much in control for the Protoss. So he has abandoned this location right here, allowing the Zerg to expand, but at the same time he has allowed himself to take his expansion right here. And two important expansions will be taken very soon. So the right part pretty much in control from the Protoss, and the left part should be in control very soon for Zerg. Yeah, but as the Protoss might is very likely going to come back here and not allow the Zerg to expand right here. At the same time, he needs to secure his position right here with those cannons. So see if indeed he's going to do this. He's of course into the middle of the map, regrouping, adding more units. Those lurkers need to be bored. A little bit of a mistake once again here by the Zerg, as one lurker has been caught off guard, and not that many units sadly here for the Zerg. I believe he tried to go for a Nido Swarm in order to give connection towards the expansion, but he could hold this ledge right here with the Defiler. See, the Zealots are moving forward, they will inflict some damage. A good Plague here once again. High Templars are of course a little bit slow, but the damage outcome very strong by them as soon as the first storms will hit. And yeah, the Protoss trying of course to inflict damage. Vision is there with the Observer into a good position. High Templar storms once again, getting some good connections, and yeah, the Protoss does a pretty good job. Of course he's going to lose some units here, as the ledge is very small, but in the end the important move by him, he's going to be able to snipe the hatchery right here, as the Zerg is now finally reacting with some units of his own. He might try to trap the units from the Protoss here, and he might also try to move you forward into attacking the expansion by the Protoss. But we do have a Reavers, and the Reaver of course a strong unit against the Zealots. At the same time, the units from the Protoss will be surrounded here, so the hatchery has been taken out, but the units will be attacked here, and a double Dark Storm here against the Reaver, so the Reaver of course will stand no chance. The Pylon could be sniped here by the Zerg, so if the Zerg is smart, he will just snipe the Pylon and all of those units will be unpowered. It's going for the cannons, so a nice back and forward game here. The expansion looks like it's going to be pretty much doomed. At the same time, the units right here will also be attacked very soon by the Zerg, and in the meantime we have another regroup here in the middle of the map, so the Protoss is not going to give up this location, but the Zerg really has to hurry up. Lurkers with his items. At the same time, the reinforcements are getting intercepted here by the Zerg, but the Zerg not paying attention, so taking quite some damage. Finally the Zerglings do come back, and it's a nice back and forward game like I told you. He's taking quite some damage, but Protoss is not going to give up into this location, but the sheer mass of the Zerg is just pretty much pumping so many units here, as the units from here will also be brought forward into this location. And luckily here for the Protoss, he did not lose the expansion right here. Very important expansion by him. At the same time, those units here in the upper part will be able to secure the two expansions from the left part. But for how long, as the Zerg looks like it's going to move more and more units here forward into the map. And let's see how things will unfold. Some cannons here in the high ground will also be good. Yeah, the High Templars once again showing us the importance into the late game, pretty much clearing all of those units. Very, very hard. Protoss, oh sorry, the Zerg to outmatch. As slowly but steadily we're closing towards the 30-minute. Still anyone's game if the Zerg macro is kicking in. He has so many hatcheries, he can replenish of course the units much faster than his opponent. And he really wants to expand into this location. All of those units have been plagued, so they're very, very low. But a great storm here once again. The Dragoons holding their ground, and more units are getting snapped here from the Defiler arrives. Yeah, he really wants to take this expansion. As the Protoss now feels confident to move out with his units, knowing of course that expansion in the upper left part will be the next move by Zerg. And yeah, more and more splash damage. Those high temps will of course fall in the end, but they have done their job so much. Killed here, 11 into this one. Still storming, so nice job. As this of course will buy time for the real Protoss army to move here forward. And we actually see Archons now. So Archons with splash damage against the Zerg is the perfect counter. Perhaps this will force the Zerg to go into Ultra Risk. Ultra Risk should be the answer against those Archons on the ground. So the Archons pretty much melt all of those Zerglings with their splash damage, and still the Protoss is not allowing to move forward and expand. And we actually have an army here from High Templars, but is the Protoss going to morph them into Archons, or is he going to wait for them to cast the High Templar Storm and then morph them? So the Zerg now in a little bit of a bad situation. He only has one mining base, while the Protoss has so many here, and even this one river of course important for the Protoss as the mining continues here into this location. So 2 bases mining versus only 1, and the river here in the high ground should have a great time into dealing damage, but the Zerglings do arrive. A second river is out. He needs to stay back into the cannons, so he's moving forward, dealing some splash damage, and the base is going to take quite some damage, so the reinforcements are pouring forward for the Zerg. Some observer is much needed very soon, as the Zerg tries of course to snap this newly established base from the Protoss. A very important base. What's even more important is the fact that no other expansions have been hit here for the Zerg. So the Zerg tries his best to inflict damage, still not able to punish this expansion right here. Cannons are really very nicely placed in the back. And let's see what the Zerg is going to be doing once again forward. So it's pretty much going to commit into attacking this expansion, but now the Protoss has the high ground. The ledge is very small. I believe the Zerg should not engage here. There is no detection on the high ground. There is even the High Templar with a good possibility to cast storms. The Zerg is pretty much inflicting all of his units here, but yeah, he's going to take so much splash damage. A good paralyze here by him, Plague, sorry, as he's going to be casting more and more High Templar storms. So the Plague is very strong. The Lurkers could have dealt so much damage, but the small ledge very bad here for the Zerg into engaging. And this is what I told you, perhaps an upgrade for those overlords would have been a good idea. You know, just flying all of those units here into this location, just dropping them here, inflicting damage towards the important production buildings. So in case you're not successful into killing the economy from your opponent, just try a drop into this location. Perhaps would have been a good idea. What do you guys think? Perhaps all of those gateways here clumped up together, some lurkers would have had a great time here inflicting damage, and even the newly produced units would have taken so much damage. The Protoss now securing his expansion, and I believe he's going to try to secure this expansion right here, as he should be able to clear this. So Protoss, I believe, could hold his ground here into this location, even adding those cannons, and I believe he's going to try to abandon this location right here, allowing the Zerg in the end to expand there. So the cannons also here really important. The observer sees now that there is a Zerg presence here. Both players perhaps exchanging expansion. However, the Protoss pretty much maxed out, so he should be able to lose or even split some units. So it's 200 units for the Protoss, while the Zerg is struggling with his economy, still not being able to secure those expansion in the upper left part. And he's also abandoning this location, so we might see an engagement very soon. We try to take the middle of the map very hard. as the Archons are here dealing so much splash damage. Like I told you, perfect unit to have against those Zerglings, pretty much melting all of those Zerglings. Also very good against the Catalyst. So yeah, Zerg of course struggling now, even dropping to below 100 of a supply. So it's very important for him to secure those 2 bases in order to come back into this game. Protoss pretty much nicely creating a beeline here, and he's going to be able to secure this location very soon. I believe he's also going to try to expand here, perhaps create a line of cannons just to have more security, as all of those bases are pretty much mined out. So those units can be of course transferred here. And where exactly is the Zerg mining? Only from this location. The newly established base is now pretty much snapped with a drop with some reavers. So the reavers will be sacrificed, but in the end the damage has been done. Great Plague damage has been done once again. Protoss buys himself some time for his economy. He should be able to hold. He should be able to take this expansion right here. Just adding, he has so many minerals, he could just add so many cannons on the high ground, making it very difficult for the Zerg to attack. Very hard game indeed now for the Zerg. So yeah, like I told you, the 2 expansions here in the upper part is going to be very important for the Zerg. The Protoss knows this of course, as all the other bases are pretty much mined out. And yet the Protoss now securing his expansion. All of those units right here can be transferred. This base can be abandoned by the Protoss. He knows this of course, as the expansion here is nicely pumping minerals, and this one will be soon doing the same. So just moving out now with his units, and this time the high ground is in control of the Zerg. Some storms will be waited, but there are no items. Just the Archons now here for for the Protoss, as he's moving forward with his units. He's maxed out. Great Plague being casted. See, done here by the Zerg, and nicely spreading those lurkers. Should be able to inflict massive amounts of damage on the low ground. Let's see what else is the Protoss bringing. Of course, the Side Templars. If he's going to wait for the Side Templars to arrive in order to inflict the splash damage needed, but in the meantime, of course, his expansion is going to get secured. Look at all of those cannons. Economy, of course, allows the Protoss to attack, and we have the first storm already getting casted, dealing good damage here against the first lurker and the first defiler. Second storms are getting casted here, so the Protoss pretty much softening up here. The Zerg, as a lot of lurkers are still being left alive. He's nicely trying to spread those lurkers in order not to get too much splash damage, but I believe very soon the Protoss is going to sacrifice some of his units. He's going to lead the attack as the High Templars are dancing here and waiting on. So yeah, the Protoss can of course afford to lose some units. Look at the economy here for the Zerg. Pretty much disastrous. He's only at 9 minerals. This is his last expansion, but he needs some workers there very soon, and I believe the Protoss has pretty much so much map control here. The Zerg is not mining, and he's pretty much impossible for him to mine unless he's bringing an overload with some units forward. Can't even produce. Now finally one drone is getting here, but the Protoss can pretty much attack. Of course going to lose some units, but his economy should be able to bounce back, as the Protoss knows of course that he has the economic advantage and the unit advantage. Perhaps he's just waiting for the Zerg to GG out here, but yeah, the Zerg nicely still into the game, brought here his drones with the overload. Could this be the bounce back by him? It's going to be a very long bounce back. Yeah, those lurkers are of course very deadly with the splash damage against the units from the Protoss. See, going to be able to do the first move, perhaps the first shuttle. Yes indeed, shuttle gameplay here by the Protoss, so very smart move by him. Perhaps he's going to try to split those units into attacking on 2 fronts. Yeah, the Archon dealing good splash damage, the High Templar just casting one storm after the other. Here the units are being alive, and the Defiler is pretty much tested all of his Dark Swarm, so I believe this could enable the first attack to happen here. We only have 5 lurkers here, so Protoss might try to commit forward very soon with his drones once again moving out here. And the shuttle perhaps is going to try to drop some units. It's going to be a Reaver drop straight into those units, so No more mining. Once again, the Zerg suffering here from the siege from the Protoss. So the Protoss is just pretty much bleeding the Zerg here to death. If he's just going to try to attack once again. And he continues here for the Zerg, but the siege also continues here for the Protoss. As the Zerg now finds the confidence to move forward. If that wasn't such a good move by him, as those lurkers will take splash damage. Yeah, the Protoss is now pretty much committing forward, just walking his units in the front to give the possibility for the other units to attack from the back. And of course this has to be the GG. It's the wee here by SSAK. SSAK tried of course his best, but the Protoss in the end is able to take this nice macro game, almost closing here towards 10k of minerals. And as you can see, he's still staying into the game, so very nicely executed macro game here for the Protoss, giving him the game here. Clearing the last units from the Zerg. Looks like he's still controlling his units, he's still into this game. But I believe he's going to enjoy killing the remaining pieces from this map. He's going to take this expansion right here and this one right here. It's quite easy. Yeah, a very good game here by the Protoss. At one point the Zerg tried to fight back with some Zerglings into this location. Those High Templars once again proving to be very, very strong. And the Archons in the end also very good. The Zerg not going for Ultra Risk. Perhaps Ultra Risk would have been a better idea here for him, as the Protoss is just checking here the area from the Zerg. I believe he's going to try to once again attack. Just pretty much scouting the area with his shuttle and still staying into this game. Yes, past the 10k minerals and the 6k gas. Very nice. A very strong unit composition here by him. Archons with trouble. Very, very nice. Just going to roam around the map, just checking hatcheries opponent had. And once showing up, it's like perhaps just going to enjoy attacking the Zealot, the Zerg, and to kill some of his remaining buildings. So yeah, a very good game here by the Protoss. Sadly for the Zerg, he didn't went for any Ultralisk, no Guardians, no Mutalisk. The High Templars been pretty much untouched. And yeah, it looks like the Protoss is just going to stay here a little bit. He's going to try perhaps to snipe the remaining buildings. We are going to be watching the statistics very quick in case you guys are interested. Once again, I'm going to be clicking left and right. And the low APM here by the Protoss, giving him the game. A very nicely executed and very nice strategy by him, once again attacking and then expanding while attacking. Yeah, those High Templars proving to be very, very strong. Also good upgrades here for the Protoss. So yeah, nice, interesting game, a very, very nice long game. The Protoss proving to be a little bit too strong, just pretty much bleeding the Zerg out of his base. And yeah, in the end he was able to hold, and he did not allow the Zerg to expand in the upper left part, and with that he was able to take control of the game. He also took the lower right part with those two expansions with the cannons. Zerg just couldn't make his expansions in the upper left part. With that, the Protoss taking the game. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Tommy signing out.